Greetings once again, my friends, my fellow modelers, my fellow Star Trek fans, and my fellow lovers of everything interesting. I'd like to welcome you to another video, and today's subject is going to be interesting in the fact that it may not be Star Trek related per se, but it will be involving AMT model kits. And those of you that, well, if you know my channel, you know how much I love the AMT model kits. They came out with different versions of the fiber optic kits. I've done the AMT Fiber Optic Enterprise D. They've come out with the Enterprise Incident. I've done that model kit, but I'd like to redo that kit. They've come out with different, the space station from Deep Space Nine, and they also did the Star Destroyer. But what I want to talk about is the fiber optics, but you may or may not be aware that AMT actually released a kit just of fiber optics. So you'd be able to use it in different models or whatever you needed the fiber optics for. So we're going to go over to the desk and I'm going to show you what was in that vintage AMT fiber optic kit, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. Okay, so I got the kit, and one thing that's kind of a bummer, the seller said that the box was damaged, and I actually thought that they would have included the box, but they didn't. They just included the components of the kit. It was disappointing, but I got this for only $5, so I'm not really going to complain. I wish it would have had the box, even if it was damaged or destroyed, just to have to show you guys. I will put pictures of the box up, but let me show you guys the way this came packed. I haven't taken anything out yet, so I'm going to take out the components and then we'll go by the instructions and we'll go through everything, and I'll show you guys everything included in this kit. So I want to get all the packaging out, everything that was included in the kit, and everything that came in the box. So that's everything that I got. So let me put this aside, get rid of all this paper. All right. So let's get a little bit of light. Okay, that's better. So just looking at everything, I notice we have the fiber optic itself. We've got the drill. We've got some parts trees, and we have the power supply. So let's go through the instructions first. So what I want to show you is this is actually the fiber optic accessory kit. This fiber optic kit contains everything you need for the fiber optic lighting for any project you can imagine. You can customize model kits, action figures, or other model replicas. You might even add light to artwork, photographs, or even a floral centerpiece. The choices are only limited by your imagination. Use these instructions as a guide to the recommended application of fiber optics, but feel free to come up with as many possibilities as you can. And again, this is AMT Ertl, and you can see in the step 1, this is before you begin. Carefully study and understand the entire instruction sheet. Compare the parts in the box to the instruction sheet to be sure you have received all the parts you will need. The sharp hobby knife, test fit the parts, and the use of polystyrene cement, and very small amounts of the CA glue. And you can see on the bottom we have actually an order form to get more of the drill bits. Due to the design characteristics of the precision drill bit provided with this kit, please be sure to read the section drilling holes explaining the proper use of the drill. And you can see the address, drill bit offer, and let's see, for a drill bit for a pack of 2 is $5, and you can see the order form right there. So that's pretty cool. So these instructions have been around. You can see they're really worn and they're old. So opening it up, you can see the first part is establishing the plan of your project. Much of your success and sense of accomplishment will be the result of your creativity, ingenuity, and careful planning. When you have decided the plan for your project, and check to double check all your measurements before you begin cutting any wire or fiber optic cable. You want to be sure you will have enough parts supplied to complete your project. And that goes to like something my father always said, where you measure twice and cut once. You can see the parts list now. So what it comes with is we have the small light bulbs, the 5 volt, and they're 60 milliamps. Then we have the medium light bulb, and this is 6 volt, 40 milliamps. And then we have the large light bulbs. I remember using these in the Enterprise D for the nacelles that we had done. And those are 5 volts, 60 milliamps. Then we have the fiber optic cable itself, and that would be this right here. We have the twin lead. I'm thinking that'll be in the power supply. I'm not sure yet. We have the drill bit, carefully unpacking. It is fragile and it can easily break. We have the motorized drill itself. And that brings us to the power pack. So you can see the top and the bottom, and those of you that have done any fiber optic kit from AMT, whether it's the Enterprise, the Deep Space Nine, they all have this kind of battery pack that takes the C batteries. We also have the main power jack. We've got 2 screws and we've got a switch. And then we have the self-adhesive reflective paper, and that comes in really handy, especially like in the nacelles where you don't want light leak coming through. On the bottom you will find these parts and the 2 plastic trees provided. So we have a collar, we got the light cup, we've got the cap, the wedges, we've got the panel, the plastic staple, the tube, and the channel with the rib. And the additional tools we're going to need to assemble this kit, you will need the following additional tools not supplied with the kit: sharp hobby knife, soldering iron, 60-40 resin core solder, small Phillips head screwdriver, wire cutters, drill and assorted drill bits, cellophane and electrical tape, polystyrene cement, and the instant bond type of glue, the CA glue. So you can see, moving on, where we're going to actually assemble the drill. We got the drill bit assembly. The drill bit included should only be used to drill holes for individual fiber optic strands. You can see this actually runs on 2 AA batteries. So why don't we go ahead and we're going to check that out. So that comes still sealed. So we're going to open it up. And usually what they do is everything that you need for the drill will actually be inside of the drill bit. So let's open this up and check it out. And like I said, every fiber optic kit I have does come with a drill. So to get the top off, you can see how it kind of slides. And on the inside, they would have the drill bits. It looks like there's something else in it. Okay, so in addition to the drill bits, they also have the reflective foil tape that they were talking about. And that would be this. And this might actually be the light bulbs. We'll open it up and we're going to check it out. But let's do the drill bit first. And I want to be careful not to mess it up. So why don't we go ahead and cut it open. And make sure I just cut that, not my fingers. Here we are. You can see how it's all wrapped up. And it's looking like it only comes with 1 drill bit. And that's usually the opposite. When we usually get the kits themselves, they usually have more than 1. So I'm actually going to do a demo. We have it out. I might as well get it up for the complete setup, just to show you guys how it's going to work. So let me carefully take the drill bit out of the wrapping. And the way this is this actually goes in and it goes onto that little pin right there. So let me actually, we're going to need 2 AA batteries for this. So let's go ahead and get the AA batteries. We got the Duracells right here. And you can see the way they're going to go in. So on the bottom, put this one in, and the positive is going to be facing to the right, and the top battery, the positive is going to be facing to the left. Like that. So now we're going to take the cover with the switch, and we're just going to slide it back into position, just like that. And it's not working. All right, let's see what the problem is. So I know I put them in correctly. These batteries can't be dead. They're new. I just got the batteries in. Let's see. Let's put a couple more in. All right. Again, I just want to make sure they're going the right way. They are. Okay, so this one is going to be facing that way, and we'll put this one going the other way. And it's not working. Oh, man. Well, that's unfortunate. I have no clue why this isn't working. So I don't want this to be a complete fail for you guys, so I'm going to take one. This is another one. And this is, I think this one is from the Enterprise D. So we would put the batteries in. And then what you do, again, we slide the cover back on. That has a switch on it. And all it really is it pushes the connections back. And you can see how it's going to work. So the only thing I can see that's wrong with this is that the motor or the connection isn't there, or it's not making contact. There's really no other reason why it shouldn't work, because it's very basic. So that's kind of a bummer, but let me show you what the drill would do. So there's a little hole in the bottom of the drill bit, and there's a pin in there. And you basically, you just put it on like that, and then you're ready to drill. So again, this is what it's supposed to do. You take your piece, whether it's, let's see if I have something to drill here for you guys. Nope, I don't really have anything, but you just kind of, right, that's a bad example. But anyway, this is what the drill does. And again, it's too bad that the drill didn't work. I don't know what could be wrong with this, so. All right, we'll put this one back aside because this one isn't included in this kit, but these, you would think that these would be really handy to have, but the only problem is getting a drill bit in. It's pretty tough. So what I had to do was I took one where it had the tube for the drill, and what I actually did was I put my own bit in, and I was able to do that to finish the drilling for the Enterprise D. All right. So that's the drill. Okay, so we'll put that aside for now. The other thing it comes with, and I want to show you guys, these could be the light bulbs. I want to carefully open this up. All right, so where is the, here it is. are. So this is the switch, little power supply, and where the plug is going to go in, and we have two of the screws. So let me kind of show you this. All right, I don't want to lose the screws. So we got a couple of Phillips screws, and we've got the switch. Again, the same kind of switch that would have been in all the other model kits. And finally, we got the plug. Because remember, this is going to be the power supply, but this is going to have the cord that's going to come in, and it's going to plug into this section. All right, so let's put that aside. I don't want that to get lost. So that is the drill. We got the drill assembly. So next, we have the power pack assembly. And from the inside of the power pack case bottom, drill 2 and 3 32nd inches, 2 millimeter holes in the same distance apart as the holes in the slide switch. Use a hobby knife to cut a 5/16 by 5/32 inch or 8 by 4 millimeter square holes directly between the two drill holes. And what we actually have to do is that's where the switch is going to go in. And it shows the power pack, the setup, do not cement. You can see the cover and the actual battery pack that's going to go in. We got the power cord, and you can see the different parts at the bottom of the case. And we're going to have to solder the switch. So solder one end of the cut power cord lead to the center connector of the installed slide switch. Solder the other lead to the other side switch connector as shown. And it shows the cut through one of the leads of the power cord, 1.5 inches from the battery pack. Strip off 1/4 of an inch of the insulation and cut the ends and twist the bare wires as shown. And again, when I had done the Enterprise D build, I had shown you guys how to do this. I actually think this was the first video that was in the build series that I had done. So let's go ahead and we're going to check this out. So again, it's going to come in the plastic bag, and all of the components that we need are actually going to be inside the battery pack. So we have the battery pack, and the top kind of comes off. You can see where it's held in place with the little pins. And let's take a look at the components now. Let me take everything out first. So when I was talking to you guys about the twin lead, that would be this right here. Let me see if I can show you an end. Here it is. So there's that. Let's see, this is actually all the bulbs, so I definitely want to show you guys the bulbs, but I want to do it where I don't want to totally destroy the bag. And again, today, with the advent of the LEDs and all the different lighting options, these are pretty much obsolete, because these actually throw more heat than you would think. Alright, so let's open up the bag. And I'll show you an example of each one. So let's get these out. These are in actually 3 different sizes. Put the bulb bag over there. So this one will be the large. A pretty good sized bulb. Let's see, where are the mediums? I think this would be the medium size. And again, these are so old, looks like some of the leads are broken off the bulbs. And let's see the smallest one. there. So let's see. To take an inventory, we have of the large. So these aren't really matched up that well. We got 3 of the small ones. We have 2 of the medium ones. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 11 of the large bulbs. All right, and then we have the power pack itself. And we're going to put in the, I think these are C batteries. Yeah. Let me see, do I have any of the C's? I don't think I have any C batteries readily available. But it would take 4 of them. And you can see the section right now that I was telling you about. We got the plug. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to go in to power it up, so you can take it off, and so this doesn't have to be connected. So that's the power supply. And what they're talking about, well, we have to actually do a little bit of work to it. This would be the top, and this is the bottom. And I don't know if you'd be able to see the outline? So we would actually have to cut that out. And the switch would go in, and we would screw that into position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in a description on when I had built it for the Enterprise D model. So if you're interested in how this is going to go together and finally work, you can check it out. So let's put this aside for a moment. Let's see what's next. We've got the main power jack assembly. We got the twin lead wire, and that would be this. Determine the amount of twin lead wire supplied with this kit that you will need to create a main power lead, and cut that amount from the coil. Pull the leads apart about 1.5 inches on one end of the wire. Strip 1/4 inch of the insulation from each lead and twist the bare wire as shown here. For part B, we solder each of the bare wire leads to the power jack, and you can see where the positive and a negative would go. The solid black is the positive lead, and the negative lead will be the white line. So looking ahead to the wiring power for further explanations of power and negative leads. And pretty interesting, because look at what they actually use as an example for drilling holes. This is the dorsal hull, a part of the dorsal hull from the Enterprise D. To prevent light bleed through, with thin or lightly colored materials, you may wish to paint the inside of the workpiece with a flat black paint designed to adhere to the type of material you are using. Use the supplied drill to drill as many or as few holes in the object you intend to install the fiber optics through. As a word of caution, when using a power drill of any kind, you should always wear safety glasses. Keep the drill in a straight, even line, and never force the drill, or the bit may jam or break. And those of you that have worked with these drill bits, you know how easy it is to break these things. To maintain maximum drilling speed, only fresh batteries should be used in a drill. Hold the drill in one hand and a piece to be drilled in the other. When drilling, take your time and place a starter hole with a sharp hobby knife for a small nail. Then place the micro drill bit in the starter hole and start to drill. Drill bit is very fragile and should only be handled carefully. This bit can break. If it does break, see the other side of this replacement for the box in the order form. Drill bits and course locate site to drill. Start to drill and bring to full speed. Drill the hole using light pushing motion. Keep the drill bit straight to avoid excess pressure. When drilling, still running carefully, withdraw the bit, remove the shavings as they are produced. Keep the bit clean and continue until all the holes have been completed. And again, sometimes I notice too that if the drill bit is a little bit off, see this one looks pretty straight, but if it's a little bit off and you run it, it just kind of has this tornado kind of effect, and it's easier to break. So now we get to the fiber optic itself, and that would be this. So they don't really give you a ton of fiber optic in this kit, but what we do is we remove the casing, and inside is all the fiber optic. So when you prepare the fiber optic, step A, determine the length of the fibers you will need for an area of your project and cut that amount from the cable as shown. Step B, like I was saying, we cut down the casing. Carefully cut through the outer cover of the cable. Start about 2 inches back and in the end cut towards the end of both sides. Do not damage the fiber optics inside. And because these are old, these over the years have gotten very brittle. I found that out with the Enterprise D build. Part C, hold the enclosed fibers and peel back the outer cover to where you make your cuts. D is secure the fibers together with cellophane tape. Use a felt tip marker and write the length of the fibers on the cellophane tape. So that's a good idea to keep track. They had us do that in the kits too. Step E, hold the fiber optic cable in one hand and use a pair of tweezers to pull the individual fibers as needed. And step F, bundle the selected strands and secure them with a piece of cellophane tape. Use the wire cutters to trim the end of the bundle for about 1/4 of an inch beyond the tape. And eventually those are going to go into the cup. So moving on, and again, they're using the Enterprise D, the dorsal hull. So adding the fibers and the light. Carefully thread the fiber optic through the drilled hole. Allow a minimum of 1/8 of an inch of fiber to extend beyond the front of the outer surface. Dispense a small amount of CA glue, a piece of cardboard, or other such disposable item. Use a straight pin to apply a small amount of cement to the inside or outside of the work surface around the fiber optic. You can see an illustration right there. Step B, when you have multiple fiber bundles in the same area, you can bundle them together with a piece of cellophane tape. This combined bundle can now share a common light source. And fiber optics, that's what makes them so cool. You can literally have 100 windows and you can run everything down to just one light. And that's like the magic of the fiber optics. Of course, in this day and age, you would probably drill the holes, or on the Enterprise, the most recent release, it's actually translucent. So you would light the entire inside and then kind of use a tiny drill bit to kind of scrape off the paint, and that would have the windows easily be seen. This assembly is a convenient way to light multiple bundles. And now we bring the cups. So we're going to take the bundle. It's going to go into the cap, and the cap is going to go into the cup, and at the back of the cup is where the light bulb is. So we've got the collar. Cement around the light cup into the tubes. So we do, the rib cemented to workpiece to support the back of the light cup with when the cap is no longer snapped in, or is to be snapped in. Then we have the wedges we cement into place to support the tubes. You can see the small bulb, the cap, the drill holes where they're actually going to go in, and we have the glue where we would lightly glue that. So step C, and this is interesting too because this is actually the Enterprise incident instructions, because I remember that. It shows you trim off the fiber optics. So part C, light sources can be created in a variety of forms and configurations. Cut the trim and assemble any of the plastic parts in a combination that fits your needs. You can even use the plastic parts tree themselves to build racks and holders, and we've done that. Important note, when pointing fiber optic light sources, to do some tuning by moving the fibers around the light source until the most possible light comes out on the other end. It is best to have fibers point directly at the glowing centers of the bulb. And you can see the illustration, and this would actually be the primary hull of the Enterprise, the 1/2500 scale. You get the fiber optics, the plastic staple holding it in position, and we have the bulb that gets glued in place, and the fiber optics, the end go right up against the bulb. And then you can see the addition of the rib. And to enlarge a tube, accommodate a small bulb, drill holes and attach fibers around the diameter. And this one actually is from the nacelle of the Enterprise D, where I remember using this piece that goes in, and we have the reflective kind of foil that goes to prevent the light leak. Use some of the supplied self-adhesive reflective paper to spread light throughout the interior of the closed objects. You can see it right there where you peel and stick. Construct a rack of the bulbs using the channel. And you can see a panel right here with the wedges. Create an upright panel. Allow any bulb to illuminate a clear part, or just let it shine out of your work piece. The options are limitless, and almost any layout is possible. And then it shows you, once they're glued into place, you go around and you trim off the excess. After cement has set and any exterior painting is dried, use wire cutters or a shop hobby knife to remove the protruding end of the fiber optics. And again, this is really a great way to light your models. And again, this is like old-fashioned way of thinking. So we move on to the wiring and the power. So part A, when you plan your project, make a wiring diagram on a separate sheet of paper to indicate how and where you would like your light sources to be located. Find convenient yet inconspicuous location to deliver the main power lead to your project. You can see where we would put the power jack itself. In this instance, it's going to go in the base. You can tap into the main power lead at any point along the way. Each light source should have one positive and one negative lead to create a closed circuit. Make sure that you maintain a closed circuit and that any branches from the main power lead end with the light source do not connect a negative lead to a positive, then it will short out. At any time, anywhere in your wiring, or a short circuit will result, which could damage the light bulbs and batteries. Install the 4C batteries into the power pack and test your circuit and solder joints as you add new light sources by plugging power plug into the power jack. Connect the power before proceeding your next light source. And you can see the twin lead, the wires, and again the solid black would be the positive in this instance, and then the black with the white line would be the negative. Determine the length of a twin lead wire supplied with this kit that you will need to create your circuit, and cut those amounts from the coil as needed. Pull the leads apart about 1.5 inches on one end of the wire. You may need to completely separate the leads in many cases. Strip 1/4 inch of insulation from each end of the lead and twist the bare wire as shown. So the next illustration they show, they have a bunch of the lights, and you can see the little solder iron where we need to solder them in place. An example of a closed circuit. And this makes me think of the Enterprise D, because it had a similar diagram. Solder joints must never come in contact with one another, or a short circuit will result. After soldering, insulate around the solder joints with electrical tape. And you can see all of it lead right back to the power jack. Step C, and incidentally this is the base or the backing of the Enterprise Incident Model Kit. Cement plastic staples to the workpiece throughout your project. They can help prevent wires and fiber optic strands from being pulled and snagged, and can keep your project neat and overall tidy. You can see all the fiber optics that are going to go in to the cap. It's going to go into the cup, and the cup actually has the bulb in it. So when it comes together, there's a closed area where only the fiber optics will get the light. You can see the staple. Customer satisfaction is a priority at Ertl. Should you have any questions or comments about this product, call us toll-free inside the US and Canada. And you have the phone number. And this is form number 099-6605. So, I think that may be everything for the instructions. So it goes through everything, the setup, the power supplies, the drill, how to use the drill. It shows you the fiber optic, how to set it up, and how to keep everything neat and tidy, and then finally how to wire the circuit. So this is like a really fun kind of kit. So let me go ahead and we're going to take a look now at the parts tree. Let's put this over here. And lastly, we have the parts tree to go through with all the little parts and the caps, the staples. So let's go ahead and let's check out the parts tree. And the parts tree would be number 0285229E. So these are the cups. So what you would actually do is you would take the bulb. You can see the leads that are attached to the bulb. And what you would do is you would carefully run it through the inside until the wires would come out the back. You would glue the bulb into position so everything would be nice and snug and it's not going to go anywhere. When you bundle your fiber optics, when you bring them to the end, you would tape them together and then cut them to make sure that they're all even. Those would go into the cap. So the cap would have the fiber optic cables in them, and then it would be the cap that goes into the cup. And that would have the light hit nothing but the ends of the fiber optic cable. So you wouldn't have to worry about light leak or anything. It would only be lit. The light would be contained and only putting into the fiber optics. So the different pieces, you can see we have the staples, and these will come in handy if you want to make it neat, because you have the fiber optic cables running everywhere, and you can kind of bundle them and make it look organized. So we got the staples right there, and then you can see the little ends for this, for the smaller amounts of the cable. So in the next tree, you can see it's got the backing where you can again run the leads of the bulb through. Let's see, I might actually be able to do this a little easier to show you guys. And that would go through like that. So you would cement the bulb, but then once it's in place, it's all set to wire on the back. So you could use these for different things. And then we have the rib, where we can actually put a bunch of lights in that'll go into a section to really light everything up. We've got the wedges, and then we have the small rods over here. You can see the bracket or the harness to keep the cup in place in the model kit. And that's basically all the pieces. And this again is Ertl 0285229. You can see the different part numbers. So it comes with two parts trees. It comes with the power supply. It comes with some fiber optic cable. It comes with an assortment of light bulbs, and it has a switch for the power pack, because you don't want to, every time you want to light the model, you don't want to have to plug it in. So the switch would be on the base, and the power supply, the line, or this section, would come out, and somewhere in the model, or the base of the model, you would have this section where you would actually be able to power the model up. So this is really a fun idea from them. Again, bringing the whole kit into focus. The whole fiber optic thing is really fun, and Again, this is outdated in thinking because now we get the LEDs, and these bulbs actually throw a lot of heat. You wouldn't think they do, but like when we did the nacelles for the Enterprise D, I think we had like 6 of these, and with the reflective backing, it actually got pretty warm. Now we have LEDs, we have LED tapes, we have the SMDs, and that pretty much makes this way obsolete. But a couple of things that I'm doing, I did the fiber optic. Matter of fact, let me show you guys. I'm building the USS Nimoy. And what I did was, because we used the end caps from the pilot, I actually put, and this still needs to be cleaned up, we actually ran the fiber optics into the ends of the end caps, and it actually looks really cool when it's lit up. But that's just like an example of what we could use the fiber optics for. Again, with that model, I had used the fiber optics for all the windows around the bottom of the sensor dome and along the edges. I think the way because the model is so small, there's not a lot of room in here to reflect the light. So we ran all the fiber optics to a light in the middle, and it looks really cool when it's lit up. And because this is going to be a special tribute to the Nimoy, I actually have lights that'll light the registry markings on the top and on the bottom. But this is a totally separate project. But that's something like where I'm still using the fiber optics, and it can be really fun to do. I got this relatively inexpensive only because the box was damaged, and this was like $5 with $5 shipping. They do sell the kit around $30, give or take, depending where you get it from, if it's still new in the box. But those, you guys that are fans of AMT like I am, or the nostalgia, if you're around my age and you remember the fiber optic models, this is really fun. And when I had seen this, I was able to get this, and I thought it would be a really fun video to show you guys what came in this kit. Because, you know, for the longest time, I didn't even know this kit existed. So you may know it, you may not know it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. Had a little bit of fun going through the fiber optics from AMT Ertl. And until my next video, take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.